Hello and welcome to the Natural Curiosity Show. I'm so glad to be here today. I've got Kadena Tate with me. Hey, Kadena.
Hello, Marian. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm very, very happy today. Gosh, I'm happy every day.
Yes.
Oh, now, Marian, don't you have a few down days? Well, yeah. But you know what? Every time I do, I think to myself, now, you were down once before, and didn't you get over it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's just pretend you're over it now.
Yeah. I have the same philosophy, actually.
Oh, you know,
Down but never out, right?
life can get you down, but you just got to get right back up there. Otherwise, what's the use, right?
Absolutely.
So, Kadena, I'm really glad to have you here today. And natural curiosity means a lot to a lot of different people. But for me, it's what am I curious about today? And I'm really glad that you're here today because before we hit the record button, you were telling me a little bit about how you remember me 10, 15 years ago at a technology, a course or something
Mhm.
we were on or in, we were at a workshop, right?
Yes, unseminar.
On
Yeah.
seminar.
Yeah. Long time ago.
That was a long time ago. And I enjoyed on seminar because the people that showed up to something like on seminar were just a little offbeat,
Yes.
right? They were cool. They were the
Yeah.
cool kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was about, I think, for me, embracing your weird, right? Just owning the sovereignty of your own being. Yeah. I love that.
I
Yeah.
love that too. Well, if you're new to Natural Curiosity, just know that if you want to see what we look like, how goofy we are, what color our hair is, and whatnot, you can go to YouTube. And if you just want to hear us, you can see it. You can see it on YouTube and hear it on any podcast platform, just about everywhere. And that's one of the things I want to talk about today because today is National Techie Day. That is so cool.
It is. I love that every day has its own holiday.
You know, if you ever want something really cool to think about, just go to National Day Calendar. And I know they have national month calendars and national year calendars and all that, but National Day is interesting because they not only have one day, but they have listed all the certified days. So some days there's two, some days there's five
Mhm.
different national days. And so today it really caught my attention because I embrace my technology. I embrace my curiosity about technology. People that know me think I'm a technical genius. And do I have them fooled? Let me tell you, I know just enough
Yes.
to get myself in trouble.
Yes.
How about you, Kadena?
It's the same. I know just enough to be dangerous, right? But it's funny because I think for a lot of people, they don't even try because they think it's too hard. But I mean, I was called a Canva genius earlier this morning and I laughed. I said, yeah, lots of hours spent on that platform.
That is
Hours
a
and hours and
fantastic
hours,
platform.
right?
I love Canva.
I do too. It's one of my favorite tech platforms. Love it. Yes, yes, yes. I wish I would have invented it actually. That's how much I love how much I love Canva. Yeah, it's fabulous platform. Absolutely fabulous.
I remember when I was trying to learn um, some really, really hard technology. It wasn't the technology, it was the software. The
Hmm.
people that created things, that only people with that kind of brain, the people that invented it the only people that would bought it and understand it were people like them. It
Hmm.
wasn't for the end user like me, like
Hmm.
Photoshop. If you
Hmm.
think Photoshop is easy, then you're one of them, okay?
Correct. It's the truth. Yeah. I think oh my God, I never thought about it that way. But that's exactly it. A lot of people will say, well, no, it's intuitive. And I'm like, But here's what I will also say that I've learned, because I never believed this. For years, people would say to me, you need a Mac. You'll see, you need a Mac. I always had a PC. And then 8 years ago, my PC died and I bought a Mac. And now I get it. And so I will say we're all creative, but sometimes we don't know how creative we are, especially if you're spinning perfectionist energy, especially because you won't allow the creative process to be messy. And I think technology is about, being willing to allow that process of learning to be messy and not being so into our intellect that we think something's wrong with us because we didn't get it right the first time. It's going to require practice. It really is.
A lot of people think it takes too much time and energy and that type of stuff, and their brain doesn't work that way and whatnot. So what they do call me, the people that really know me, is the go around queen. So if something seems too hard, or it's taking too long, or it's just not working, I will find something else and manipulate it, and I'll mix in different technologies and stuff, and I'll make it work for me.
Yes.
So I'm the go around queen.
Yeah.
So I didn't like Photoshop. I even took classes on it. It just, my brain and that technology didn't really work. So I found this really cool alternative. And do you know that they bought that software and shut it down?
Are you serious?
I am very serious. It was a competitor that had it going on, okay? They had it going on so well that I was doing my own digital art. I was doing all photo manipulation. You wouldn't believe. It was so easy. Now, this was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They bought the company and shut it down. So when I got a new computer, that old computer, the new computer and that old technology wouldn't work anymore. And I had to scramble around again because
Yeah.
at that time I was like, I will not learn Photoshop. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. You know what that reminds me of is GarageBand. Okay, because the old iteration of GarageBand, you could do your own podcast, and they had this feature on there where you could change your voice. So not to be funny, but you literally were the entire podcast. So it might be like you're the announcer, and then you change your voice,
Oh,
and it would
really?
have like male voices, female voices, it would do all this stuff, right? And then one day they did an update and took that away. And a friend of mine told me, do not update, do not update your Mac. And I didn't listen to her, okay? And of course, lost that whole functionality. And so I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So yeah, so it's amazing the stuff they take away that makes your life easier. I believe technology is supposed to complement our lives, not take over our lives. And that's,
Okay.
I think that's a lot of the frustration with it.
There are
Yeah.
people out there that agree with us that are techies, and
Yeah.
those people created the open source, okay, which really
Yes.
upset a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay, so they said, oh no, Microsoft, we're going to come up with a free open source technology that does the same thing yours does. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And so little by little, anti-government,
Mhm.
anti-establishment people and people like us that, really wanted it to be easier, they have given us things that
Yes.
we can use. The only problem with open source is no one gets paid, so
Yeah.
nobody's really watching it and that type of thing, and it can get dicey. And that's one of the reasons why my company, WP Site Monitor, does so well, because there's a lot of security issues in WordPress. So one of my companies, that's all we do is WordPress security and
Mm.
updates.
Oh,
Because,
that's fantastic.
but
No.
it's necessary because it's open source and no one is really, well, they don't put the money into the security, see? So yeah, so
Oh,
it's
no,
good to
I agree
have, but
wholeheartedly.
still
Oh,
good.
100%. That's a good point that you're making about the open source software. I never thought about it like that. All I know is WordPress had so many problems. I was like, oh, I cannot deal with this. And I went to which I still am on WordPress, right? But I went through the Rainmaker
Oh yes,
platform so that I would have all my bells and whistles for
yes,
security.
yes.
And but I was like, what is wrong with this platform? I never thought about, oh, that's why. And then with all those plugins, with every single plugin that you add in, right, you open it up to slow down speeds and do all these other things. So that's a really good point. I never thought about it like that. Hmm.
Yeah. The
Wow.
biggest issue was security, because I overhear the technicians talking, okay? The biggest problem with open source and plugins that go into your computer, or, you know, because anything that plugs in, whether it's in WordPress or your computer, anything that plugs in, you need to know where that came from and what kind of security is behind it. And
Yes.
so what the hackers are doing now is they're not putting up skulls and crossbones anymore and going ha 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 like
Yeah.
they used to. They're real quiet, and they're just behind here looking for ways. Like if you do affiliate marketing, they're looking for ways to siphon out that money. They're looking for your usernames and passwords, because most people use the same username and password for their bank that they do for their WordPress.
Are you serious? I
I'm
would,
serious.
wow, I wouldn't even think of doing that.
Oh yes.
I'm all about
People are
complex
very lazy when it
passwords.
comes to passwords, because they've gotten locked out too many times, and they're fine, I'll just use the same password.
Wow.
And that's
Wow.
what's happening, is these people are building free this and free that, here for your WordPress website, or here for your phone, or here for your computer, free, free, free. But you have to be
Oh my
careful.
gosh.
You have to be careful, because they're, like I said, they're not saying anything, but they're
Absolutely. Well, it's the
working in the
tyranny
background.
of free. Well, it's the tyranny of free. But you know, that's what I was saying to you prior to the call, that I believe that curiosity is the birthplace of creativity. I think the problem, though, in the example that we're talking about right now, is some people use their creative gifts for evil and other people for good, right? And I think, well, you know, like my mom was a computer lab manager at an elementary school for 30 years. And I remember one day she said to
Oh,
me that there are
mom.
people who wake up, right, every day with the sole intention to take down Microsoft or to take down Adobe. And I said, I don't understand why. I don't get it, right? And she would look at me like I was crazy at the time. And she's like, because it's not open source, because there's so much money right there. And I think for me, we have to get out of this lack mentality. I mean, there really is enough for everyone. There really is, right? But we don't respect each other's gifts. And I think technology is just one of those arenas where there needs to be more equitable. What is it? Yeah. It's not equity, like across the board. It's like that woman, the Alexandra, you know, the woman who's in the, oh my gosh, the politician, how she made the comment that there should be no billionaires, that's the problem. I'm like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is that we have a system where all people's gifts are not acknowledged and honored, right? And we pay the person who thought of the idea more, and we value the person who created the idea more than the people who are implementing the idea. I mean, I am a person who, I can think of ideas, like brilliant ideas, a mile a minute. That's like no big deal. It's the implementation of them. And the people who are doing that work are, especially in the area of technology, are weeding out all the kinks, and those people never get the spotlight to say you did good, right? And I just think we need to do a better job of looking at what's the role of technology in our lives, where are the advantages, and then where are the disadvantages. Because with AI, I don't know, all artificial intelligence is not healthy. It's just interesting,
It is very interesting. Well,
right?
I was looking at National Day calendar. Excuse me for looking over here, but I have two screens, and this one has the National Techies Day on it. And it says it's National Techies Day on October 3rd every year, and it encourages students to consider a career in technology. And I thought, interesting, okay, because uh, the way we look at people now is a lot different than the way we looked at it when I was in school. Okay, we wouldn't even consider going into car repair, technology. As a woman, I knew my place. Okay,
Mhm.
and I didn't know I was doing that. I didn't
Mhm.
know it. Okay, I just was told that I could be a teacher, I could be a nurse, I could be a doctor, but that'd be really hard. You know, I mean, I was told what was acceptable, and I didn't buck the system like some of these nice ladies have done for us. Uh, you know, there's been some pretty cool women out there that have paved the way for the youngsters now. But it got me to thinking a little bit more about technology. Now, people my age and older, and I don't look my age, I am much older than I look and act. But most people my age and older are afraid of technology, and it's because they weren't encouraged. I think it was either they had a husband, a father, or society telling them, "Oh no, no, honey, that's a man's job," or that, you know what I mean? Even if no one ever said it to them, it was implied.
Absolutely.
So now the kids, now it's different. So one of the things that my job is, and it's just, no one told me this, I just came up with it myself. I want to help people who can barely email. That's my sweet spot. Okay, I want to help you with all the modern technology that's out there to see it's really not that hard. I can show
Absolutely.
you how to get to where you want to go with the technology that we have today. And it's only getting better and better because there's people out there that want to make it easy for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the fact that today's National Techie Day. And I know that you also have some cool technology issues that you want to talk about. You're interested in and curious today about online platforms?
Teaching platforms. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like
let's
for
hear more about
years,
that.
I gotta tell you, I mean, I love the advent of it. Like I was with Rizuku for many years. I love that platform. But I will also say there's this part of me that really, I remember when the founder of Rizuku, his name is Abe, when he said, the investment to actually build a teaching platform, like how high it is, and how so many people don't realize what goes into it. When you start looking at developers and servers and your content, my concern is always what I would call digital sharecropping. When I'm putting all of my content on your technology, God forbid you go out of business. And this is now all my hard work going with it. Like, look at all the people, who are on MySpace. There's no MySpace anymore. I remember years ago, being on Facebook when it was this, you had to build your fan page separate and spent hours, right, building that tribe up only for them to change the algorithms and say, now you can have followers on your personal page. It's like all of these platforms, there's benefits from a technological perspective, but there's also drawbacks. So now I've changed platforms. Right now I'm with Thinkific. I love it, but I got to tell you, Marian, there's this part of me that's like, I need to earn more money so that I can build this like as a part of my own, WordPress site that I own and harness, so I don't have to worry about some outside force, right? Because I'm an economics major. So I'm always looking at how outside forces will impact your day-to-day business activities. A lot of people don't think about that. You could be shut down in a minute. For example, if you're on Facebook or Twitter or another platform and you say something that a person doesn't like, all your intellectual property just went away just like that.
That's
And
why I
so
started.
I'm a little concerned about that.
That's why I started WordPress, developing websites on WordPress, because we were on a drag and drop, and a friend of mine. Well, we had just started doing websites on WordPress because somebody wanted it, and I thought, oh my God, they own their own. This is, they can't have it taken away from them, right?
Yeah.
And a friend of mine came to me one day and he said, Marian, I've been writing a blog for 3 years, every single day. He's a prolific writer. And he said, one day I woke up and they were all gone.
Yes.
And the company said, well, I had done something against their terms of service, and so they deleted my account. Now, this is a researcher. This isn't some crazy dude, okay? This is a guy that's older than me that does nothing but, health and wellness, and he wrote a blog every day for 3 years, and it was gone.
Yes. That's
So
what I'm talking about. Yes.
Can you put my blog on WordPress? Because I can't have that happen to me again, and now I'm gun shy. I said, well, of course. And you think, well, it won't happen to me. Well, guess what?
Oh, absolutely.
This guy has said that was so bad. He doesn't even know. They wouldn't tell him.
That's my whole point. And we're so subjective to what offends people, nowadays. And so that, I would like these teaching platforms to be integrated into like the WordPress platform. That's the reason why I was sharing with you that I'm on the Rainmaker platform. Now, it has its problems and its nuances, you know, and for a while there, I thought I was going to leave them because there were so many problems, and I started building this whole thing out on Thinkific, which I really love their platform too. And I was like, oh, I just need this to be on my own platform. But Abe was not kidding. It's like $60,000 to $80,000. Like if you want it done right, right, and you want it to be hacker proof and all this other stuff, it's quite cost prohibitive for a lot of people. So I think that would be like a cool technological invention, not so much as a plugin, because people will say, well, you could use what do you call that? Wish list member and all those, type of plugins. They're okay, but they don't do the job like what we're talking about, And when you start looking at how much, oh my gosh, I forgot what it's called. Like your, oh my gosh, like when you're gonna like put something on an Amazon drive, how much is it gigabytes? Like how much storage? That's the word I'm looking for. How much storage? Can become very cumbersome if you're using audios and videos. That becomes very cumbersome. So you want something that's fast and intuitive. My God, it's like sometimes the cost of technology really feels prohibitive to me, for people who are more visionary in their approach, right?
Yes.
It just feels really prohibitive. And so,
Well,
yeah,
this exactly what you're talking about. So you're talking about teaching platforms. I teach people how to collect money from their tribe, from artists and people who do blogging and podcasting and YouTubes and videos and things like that. All those people are on platforms where it's free. And if they wanted to collect money from people, they would have to build a membership site, okay? Now I can just tell you, I'm not trying to knock my company or anything because we're right in line with everybody else, but that's a minimum of $5,000 to $7,000 minimum.
Yeah.
To build a membership site.
Yes.
Even with plugins like Wishlist, okay, just to build the structure of it, and then you have ongoing costs that are added onto that, and that's before you even start making any money.
Correct.
So I did what Marian does best, and I went around all that crap, okay, for myself, and I started teaching people Patreon.
Yes. I was just going to mention them. Yeah. Fabulous platform.
I have case studies of podcasters making $150,000 a month doing a podcast. How? They know how to get their fans involved in what they're doing, and they can do it all. They can blog, they can offer them content that is behind closed doors, just like any other membership site. However, you do have that chance of doing something wrong against their terms of service. So, I mean, it's not perfect, okay, but they are making alternatives.
Yes, but I was under the impression that Patreon got started because people wanted to have a platform where they could be unapologetically themselves and communicate what they wanted to communicate without worrying about all these people who are offended, right? And I know a lot of people with Patreon accounts who, they're really reaching a larger amount of people. They have more freedom. But I was like, well, they still have terms and conditions. I read them. So, I always go back to digital sharecropping.
They do. And so you always have to have a backup of all your work. I highly recommend that. And space is not free. You do have to pay for that. However, my audience, like I said, they're the people that are just learning technology, but they still have a message to share. They still
Yeah.
have something inside of them that has to get out.
Yeah.
And they're either artists or they're authors or they're YouTubers or podcasters. These are all people that have a message and they want to get it out, and they don't want to be stymied by thousands of dollars and technology. So
Yes, I agree
I'm
wholeheartedly.
giving them a way around that. I'm giving them an alternative. And the technology today is just unbelievable. So the podcasting platform that I'm using is push button. It
Oh yeah.
literally allows you, for free, by the way,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
free, it allows you to do anything that you want. You can edit, you can pull things in, you can you can use all your really cool gadgets and gadgets and then pull it in just, with the touch of a button, move it all around. It's really cool. And they send it out to all the platforms themselves. They send it to iTunes and Stitcher,
Oh,
Stream.
that's cool. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh, they
Okay.
do everything with the touch of a button.
Oh, I
That's what
love
my
it.
class
Okay.
is. I have a beginner's class coming up Saturday on not only how to get your message out there through podcasting, but also how to collect money for your talent, your time, your talents, and your efforts.
Oh, I'm so there. Well, that's what my brand is all about, right? And I think that so often we're very quick to productize our intellectual property, but not monetize it. That's something as women, when you were speaking earlier about how women have been conditioned, we've been conditioned to serve and to be helpful, not necessarily to be compensated for the value that we bring. So that's something that you and I have in common, teaching people how to package your expertise in a manner that you can be compensated. And a lot of people, I think, truly don't fully understand that that's a science in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have beautiful content and you can still be broke, right? You can
Yeah,
have a powerful message and
yeah,
still be broke if you
yeah.
don't know how to market yourself, if you don't know how to ask for the sale, and certainly if you don't know how to receive.
That's right.
So the
That's
work that we do is really important. I mean, for men and women. So I'm not just speaking to women.
right.
I
Well, I have
think
a lot of
for
men in my
artists and
class, but
creatives, oh yeah, I mean, I love working with authors and creatives because they have powerful messages that they're bringing to the table, but they don't always know how to market and sell. And
right,
that's really important if you're going to say that you're in business.
right.
Got to have a profit. Yeah.
Well, before we get into what you do and how you serve, I wanted to touch on somebody that we had talked about before, Melinda Cooper.
Hmm.
So Melinda Cooper, she's probably going to watch this or listen. Hi, Melinda.
Hey.
Um, she has a talent in helping my same clients, because I don't have this talent, in helping them bring it out as far as the words. Okay, so she has templates and she has all these different things where she can help them come up with what they're going to say.
Hmm.
You already have to know what you're going to say by the time you come to me. If you
Yes,
don't know
ma'am.
what you're going to say, then I'm helping you get what you want to say out, because so you have to meet people like her in order to understand what you're going to say, and then you can come to me and then we'll shoot it out, right? And then
Yes.
and then I have somebody else that's above me that does like press releases and things like that. That's not my thing. Okay, I'm not in the media. Uh, and remember we were talking about Russ Johns earlier?
Yeah.
Russ taught me this, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. It's probably a daily thought.
Yeah.
Remember when CBS, NBC, and ABC used to put a microphone in front of your face and say,
Yeah.
okay, you can talk now. Oh, no, that's it. You can't talk anymore. And that was it. That was your word. That was your 10 minutes of fame for
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Yes.
Now you have your own microphone.
Yes.
You can talk for as long as you want.
Yes.
Kadena, you and I could talk for the next 2 hours and nobody can stop us.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely, that's true, right? But would the people want to listen? Are we are we saying things that they feel are
Well,
relevant?
well, yes. So you need coaches and people. So,
Yeah,
but that's not me.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, giving voice to what you just said, one of the things that I think that all entrepreneurs, must be willing to embrace is support and a team. I think it's important that we learn how to stay in our zone of genius. And I tell my people all the time, if you're every single box in your organizational chart, you're doing too much. You're on team too much, right? You need some friends, some colleagues, some
Yeah.
partners, some affiliates, alliance partners. Together we're stronger. So that's a really smart move. And I want the people who are listening to give themselves permission to ask for the help that you need. It doesn't mean that you're weak, right? Because you don't know everything. You shouldn't know everything about everything. My God, can you imagine?
If I didn't have a team, I would not be here right now.
Hello.
I would not be here right now.
Same thing with
And
me.
I used to have, up on my LinkedIn background, I used to have, do what you do best and farm out the rest, Marian,
Yeah.
LaSalle. Because if you spend enough time, effort, and money, you can do it yourself, but then it slows you down. And, I know you think you're saving money by not hiring a team, but you know what? You should go fast and furious. The universe likes fast. It wants speed. It likes speed.
Yes, money is attracted to speed. When I say that to people, they look at me like I'm crazy. And I always smile. I'm like, money is attracted to speed. And I think it takes some time, though, to realize that you're not saving money. I know for me, because I came from a military background, it wasn't so much that I was saving time, money, and energy. I had this idea in my head of perfectionism. And perfectionism can be really crippling. And what I know now is that perfectionism rapes the soul. It really it pulls you back from actually being the highest and best person that you can be. So I know that a lot of people, the reason that they're still in that space is because of perfectionism. And you just got to be unapologetically you, ask for the help that you need, and you're going to grow a lot faster. And also, there are things that other people know, like going back to technology. There are people, for example, who are self-taught, right, in Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. And then those same people might go to a class that's taught by Microsoft to be certified and get a low score because when they taught themselves, sometimes they're taking 3 or 4 keystrokes to do what, Microsoft only has 1 keystroke for, right? But they don't know it. They don't know the nuances of how you actually use the technology. So I think sometimes we have to be very, very careful that we're teaching ourselves everything, you know what I'm saying, without recognizing sometimes we're working harder, not smarter, but we don't even know it. And it's taking us twice as long to get something done as someone else who really knows how to use the software. So it takes
I'm
some
one of
time.
those.
Yeah, so do I, right? But I
But
think that's the mix, though, right? That's what I'm saying.
I can't
We
touch
have too
it.
many
I
people
still
who,
go like this, you know.
yes,
No, no, no. And I took the long, slow route. Don't do it. I'm telling you. Kadena and I know from
yes,
experience, don't do that.
no. And that's what I try to tell people. There's so much. Let me tell you something. There's so many. YouTube is a powerful piece of technology. There's so many cool tutorials on YouTube.
I know.
You want to know. So I'm like, use technology to your benefit.
Well, Kadena, tell us a little bit about what you do and what you got going on. And I know you got something up your sleeve. What's going on there?
Well, I will tell you, for a really, really long time, I have been fascinated by business model design. I one of the things that I like to do is look at what are the gaps in your business that are keeping you poor, that are keeping you stuck, that are keeping everything sluggish, and then how can we clean that stuff up so that you can earn more money, serve more people, and you can do this in a way that's more efficient and productive. So that's like my thing. I love that, right? And
Well,
so
we
what
need
happened
you
was,
because most people can't see it because they're in it. They
absolutely, you're
can't.
too close to it, right? You're
That's
too
right.
close
You
to
need
it.
somebody that from the outside that can look at it, the whole picture and say, oh,
Yes.
yeah, I clearly see this and that.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes it's as simple as, a person will say to me, for example, I don't have enough clients. And so I lay out the canvas, right? And I start asking them questions. And then it's very clear that their value proposition, for example, might not be crystal clear. So then when I say to them, okay, honey, confused minds don't buy. We need to tighten up this message right here. And they're like, oh my God, they tighten it up. And then the whole thing, it's like oil that fuels the business forward, right? Or sometimes they're underpriced in their products, or their services. Other times they're grossly overpriced. Other times they're creating things that people don't even want to buy, So it becomes this conversation
I would
about,
want
are
to
you
buy it,
running
so
a
why
business?
don't you?
Yes. So yeah, so that's my jam. I love that. And so I created this program called Creating Money, because one of the other things that was I felt like people really needed is, how a car has four wheels, right? For the most part, most
For the
cars.
most part, yeah.
Well, most people are only using one spoke on one wheel as a revenue stream. And so when I became a caregiver for my dad 9 years ago, thank God I had four revenue streams. Otherwise, I would have gone completely under. So I'm all about multiple streams of income. And so that's why I started 50 Shades of Paid. But obviously, I can't teach people 50 ways to make money all at once. So I created the program, Creating Money. And then every single month, we talk about how to generate money through different revenue streams so that you can weave it into your business seamlessly. And so that's what I love to do. And so that's what I'm up to. Yeah.
Well,
Teaching
how do
people how to
people
make
work with
money.
you? Do you have like a mastermind or a
It's a mastermind, and what we do is it's a mastermind plus academy. So they have tutorials, but I do, these master classes, and then I answer people's questions, kind of like what you do, where, okay, where are you struggling? Let's plug that hole, let's fix that. Because sometimes, like, for example, last month we were talking about email marketing. And so, people were saying to me, God, you went into such depth about the autoresponder. I never thought about the autoresponder in the way that you taught it. And when I said just something simple like, before you start writing your autoresponder, draw out the buyer journey. And then you have the product at the end of the buyer journey, right? The decision where they're investing in you. And now we're going to lay our emails on top of that buyer journey. They looked at me like I was crazy. And these people have been in business, over 5 years. And I said, what's that look for? They're like, I never thought about it like that. I was like, well, every email, you know, is designed to move the person towards making an investment in themselves through you. But it has to be where they can see it clearly, right? Otherwise, they're like, well, I don't know what you do. I don't understand, especially when you're not relevant. Because a lot of people, they're all over the place in their communication. And so that's why buyers are confused. So it becomes this, my goal is always to take a deeper look at the buyer psychology. I believe we have to understand people and their personalities. I'm like hardcore about, we're here to help these people, address their concerns and challenges, right? Overcome their obstacles and sleep better at night. We're not here just to take people's money. I mean, we actually have a transformation needs to be involved. And so I think it's a lot easier if we're having these mastermind courses and, we have implementation day where you're actually sitting down doing these marketing campaigns so that you can create the impact. Because quite frankly, I don't know about you, but I went through this period where I really had like a trickle of traffic and I had like inconsistent launches. And I was like, wait a minute, I need a system here. And so that's what Creating Money is all about. So yes, it is a mastermind that also has tutorials and implementation days built in.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you do an extremely well mastermind, and I'll tell you, communication is a thing for me. And people's styles of communication, if I can't really understand what they're saying, I get lost and I start thinking about something else, and next thing you know, I'm checked out. But I can tell because of your communication style that you're really connected to your audience. You're really going to dive into what they really need.
Oh, absolutely. Very deeply. Because here's the thing, right? When you look at technology, like I was saying at the beginning of the call, technology is to support us. So, like when they were saying to me the other day, yeah, but you're a Canva queen. And, your presentations are like amazing. And I was like, well, let's be clear. So somebody said, well, the way you use PowerPoint is amazing. And I said, oh, that's funny. I said, this is Canva plus PowerPoint. And she said, what? It was so funny. And I said, yeah, that's what this is. And then I did a behind the scenes so they could see it. Oh, it was hilarious. They were like, I didn't know you could download Canva and turn it into a PowerPoint. I was like, yeah, because I have some other slides that I had purchased from this other company, girl, years ago. There's this, oh, I love this company, slideshop.com. I'm like 1,000 slides from these people. I'm like, oh, I'm using my slides. So I weave them in. Right. Like I paid all this money. You better believe I'm using these slides. So when I tell you, yeah, my PowerPoints are kick ass because they're all woven together. So I'm like you. I go around and try to figure out how am I going to
Go around Queens. Yeah.
how am I going to make this happen? So yeah, I'm my own graphic designer, but and I write my own stuff and everything else is outsourced. Like I said, I believe stay in your zone of genius because no one can create it the way I need to create it because I'm literally like stream of consciousness creating it, right? And I can't outsource that because it just doesn't work. I've tried. I tried, like write everything down in a Word doc and send it to somebody, and then the stuff they come back with, I'm like, no, not like that, like this. So yeah, so technology can be your friend if you relax. Yeah, if you relax.
Wow, well, the time just flew by. My goodness. Promise me you'll come back.
Oh, absolutely. What a joy. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, yes. I'm just so curious about so many things. There's not enough time in the day to get it all in. So tomorrow I'll be curious about something else. You just know it. And I know you will too, right?
Absolutely.
There you
Absolutely.
go. So if you get something really hot and you're just curious about it and we can unpack it together, you just let me know.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you, Marian.
You're welcome. All right, well, that's it for today. If you want to watch us on YouTube, we're at Natural Curiosity. And if you want to listen to us on a podcast while you're mowing the lawn or doing your laundry or walking that dog, you just go ahead onto any platform of your choice. My choice is iTunes because I have it on my phone and it's just right there. And if you are on iTunes and you loved what you heard today, please give us a 5-star review. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.